What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Beer Battered Sports Podcast, the podcast created by sports fans for sports fans, because to be honest, we think we are the most qualified people to talk about our favorite teams. I'm your co host, Isaac,
And Kylie.
And I'm 40.
and welcome to episode 39. We are one away from a big milestone, 40 episodes. So,
40.
yeah, 40. We'll get there next week. But we got a really, really jam-packed episode today. We're going to continue our coverage of the MLB playoffs, doing our official NBA season preview, recapping the first week of the NHL, and talking about Week 6 in the NFL, which I'm sure will have multiple rants about certain teams that should never appear on primetime TV again. Denver. So yeah, it's a lot to talk about today.
You got a quarterback change in Washington this week, too.
Oh yeah, there's so I kind of want to start with the NFL just because there's so much. But Kylie, you
Let's do
usually
it.
let's do it. Okay, yeah, let's start with the NFL. Normally we do start with baseball, but so much happened to the NFL. I want to get it out of the way now. So first up, we need to talk about Thursday Night Football.
Oh god, it was awful, dude.
I don't understand why. I said this last week, so I'll keep it brief because I went on a huge rant last week. But whoever has scheduled the games on Thursday Night Football for Amazon Prime this year clearly did it with malicious intent to either torture the viewers or force Amazon to to quit broadcasting NFL games, because these lineups of games are atrocious and they're turning out to be just as bad as we thought they would,
Yeah.
especially last week.
Yeah, last week was I actually expected last week to be the shootout since we got 12 field goals the week before.
I would think.
Even though there are two bottom tier teams in the NFL with two bottom tier defenses in the NFL, I expected a shootout. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But Carson Wentz had 99 yards passing in that game, so that has a lot to do with why it wasn't a shootout. But Amazon in the NFL, they owe us a whole free year of Amazon Prime or something, because this is it's been crazy the last 2 weeks of Thursday Night Football here.
And
Yeah.
based on what this week's matchup is, it probably isn't going to be as bad because the two teams scheduled this week aren't terrible, but it's still two teams with losing records.
What do we have this week?
We have Arizona and the Saints. So it's not as terrible as it's been, but those are still two of the lesser teams of the league.
Hopkins back.
What?
Do we have DeAndre Hopkins back?
Yes.
I like this game this week then. With DeAndre Hopkins back, new addition to Robbie Anderson, we should have a nice
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
nice game over there.
that's
Dude
a nice
got-
segue.
Dude got kicked off the field, and a day later got traded to the Cardinals.
Well,
I wonder if that has something to do with the new brass in charge, because Steve Wilkes is the new head coach at Carolina. He was the Cardinals coach for like 1 year before they kicked him to the curb, and I mean, it's clear that the Panthers are not going to be taking any insubordination from their players.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, damn, they really jumped all over him.
well, not
Yeah,
only
they
that.
did.
Sorry, Kylie, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Not only that, I feel like the Panthers are in a kind of rebuild mode. I keep seeing a lot of things about they're taking interest in people offering things for McCaffrey and stuff like that. And the Robbie Anderson situation, though, itself, Robbie Anderson, I think he checked out of the Panthers season before the Panthers season even started. The reason I say that is because before Baker Mayfield was a Panther and they were talking about maybe getting Baker Mayfield, we know that Robbie Anderson commented on the IG post and said no with a whole bunch of O's, because we all know who Baker Mayfield is. I've been only saying
At
it
this
for
point.
yeah, I've only said it on every episode for probably the last 10 episodes at this point.
Yeah.
But with that, you come into the season, Baker Mayfield is your quarterback. You're barely getting any touches, barely seeing the football. And then next week, the Baker Mayfield gets injured. PJ Walker comes in. Like,
Ugh.
you know, I probably would catch an attitude on the sideline too. If I'm a top tier receiver in this league, well, not the toppest of toppest tiers, but you know, people know about Robbie Anderson. We know that he's a great player. But
Yeah.
you know, if I'm a great player in this league and I'm barely getting any touches, I probably would throw a temper tantrum on the sideline too, and I'm getting traded the next day. But yeah, I think that had to do with him being checked out before the season even started.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that they worked this quick, they had to have been talking about it way, way before he got kicked off the field.
That's a shame too, because he was a good fit at Carolina for a while. He was a great deep threat for them.
He's going to be a
Yeah,
great
he was.
Arizona, I promise you. Especially with them just losing Marquise Brown now for the rest of the season.
Is he out for the season?
He is out for the season.
I didn't notice that.
And they really are going to need him because last week the Cardinals looked horrible against Seattle. And
Yep.
Seattle, to be fair, Seattle is doing better than anyone could have expected. My friend, a friend of mine who's a coworker of me and Kylie's, has a theory that Geno Smith and Russell Wilson switched bodies before the season. They had a Freaky Friday situation because that's the only way to explain why Geno Smith has been playing so incredibly well. Well, Russell Wilson has been We'll get into Russell Wilson eventually, but
Well, here's the thing about Geno Smith. I
Broncos
love that
country.
you brought it up too. Geno Smith, his quote week 1 was the perfect quote. You know, they wrote me all, but I didn't write back. And the reason I say that is because Geno never really got a chance in this league. He
No.
got drafted by the Jets. You know, that's when the Jets were probably the worst team in football at the time.
Yeah.
So you get drafted by the Jets and you have nobody around you to really give you help or show that you're, you know, the elite quarterback that you were in college with Tavon Austin and Stedman Bailey and stuff like that. And then you leave the Jets and get traded to Seattle and you're a backup to Russ this entire time. You barely get any shots ever because Russ basically stays healthy.
Mhm.
And then, you know, you finally get your shot now and it's like he even said himself and he told us week 1, he always could do this. He never really just got his chance. And I believe we're just seeing what Geno Smith could have always done if he had the talent around him.
Yeah. And I mean, when you think about it, he's been in that system for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
So being behind a healthy quarterback in Russell Wilson, who I don't want to say was great because he still is, because it's his first year in a new team, so I'm not going to write him off. But he was great for Seattle. And Pete Carroll's a great head coach. So all of those things, never getting to actually play, you get to learn a lot. And then when you actually get to play, that shows up on the field.
It's just like
And-
Garoppolo with Tom Brady.
Yep.
I feel
I'm
like
seeing
a
it
lot.
right now.
I feel like a lot of backup quarterbacks this year have really been shining. And you know, obvious. And when I mean backup, what I mean by backup is quarterbacks who they're not normally starters, but they've been forced into a starting role this year, either because of injury or because of trades. So like Geno Smith, you know, when Geno Smith or Jimmy Garoppolo are names that when you hear them, you think, you know, well, backup quarterback. Not as much Jimmy, but more
Mariota.
Geno, Mariota.
Who just got player of the week.
Quick note on Marcus Mariota. Dude has quietly been pulling my fantasy team. Marcus Mariota, he's kind of having a career resurgence with Atlanta. It's not great, but it's something.
The Falcons are the only team that are undefeated against the spread this year.
That's impressive.
They have not lost a game by the spread at all this year. They've covered the spread in every single football game.
And to beat a team
Wow.
like the 49ers, who many people think are Super Bowl contenders, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
Also, got a shot because one of the interns who works with me at my job pointed this out. I have to bring it up. Falcons, their throwback jerseys are easily the best in the league.
I like
Those
them
red
a lot.
helmets are just sexy.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. Like, they looked good back in the day in old pictures, but with the newer helmets, they look amazing. I really like them. But I'm glad to see Mariota doing better in Atlanta. He's been a good guy. I mean, what do you want to root for?
I wasn't a huge fan of him when he started because in his first game was against the Bucks, and I don't like reminiscing about that game. In hindsight, of the two quarterbacks who started that game, I'm kind of glad Mariota won. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, it's good to see him. Speaking of the Bucks, we're skipping them this week. I don't want to talk
No,
about the
let's
Bucks.
talk about it.
I really don't want to talk about the Bucks.
The
Let's
Bucks.
talk about it.
Oh man,
This guy.
Brady's checked out.
That guy lost his family to lose to Kenny Pickett.
To be fair, Tampa Bay, we have serious what's the word?
Issues.
We have serious PTSD when it comes to playing Mitch Trubisky, okay? I still remember back in 2018 when he threw 7 touchdowns against us. Or 6
Oh my
touchdowns.
God.
6. Yeah, 6. He didn't throw 7.
Yeah, it wasn't 7.
Here's what I'm going to say about the Bucks right now. Coaching staff isn't working it out. Our offense is one of the worst in the league. Tom Brady is playing unfocused football. Our receivers keep getting hurt. Lenny is the only guy on the offense who seems to be doing anything, and even he's being inconsistent. The defense is basically carrying us, but they showed last week that they really can't do it all. And the offensive line is getting screamed at by Brady, even though they're going up against a team like the Steelers, who we knew going in they were going to be tough no matter what. You know, Pittsburgh fans could say our defense revolves around TJ Watt, but even when he's not there, that defense still plays tough.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the feeling with Tampa is that this is the end of an era. Our window is slammed shut. Like, it feels to me that this team fully was expecting Tom Brady to not be on the roster. And
yes.
It feels like that the issues of Brady's personal life that are not only just impacting him, but are impacting the entire team.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, plus it doesn't help that the entire NFL is now against us because of the roughing the passer call last week. And honestly, at this point,
ever.
At this point, the way we didn't get a chance to really cover it, but at this point, I'm like, this season, I don't even know if we can make the playoffs at this point. If we are losing games to the Steelers, who I don't know what we can do.
I love that you said that too about not making the playoffs, because you
I
guys
do too.
You guys probably will make the playoffs, and the only reason you'll probably make the playoffs because if you look at the NFC, it's so terrible this year. The only teams that are actually out in front are Philly, the Giants, and that's it.
Who would have thought that?
Yeah.
Those are the teams that are really out in front. If you ask me, Dallas, their 4-2 record, it doesn't really speak what they are. We all know what Dallas is going to end up at the end of the year, 8-8 or 8-9 because there's 17 games now. But
stupid.
However, somehow, some way, they always find a way to go 500 or less.
They're gonna go 8-1.
So there is a chance for you guys to make the playoffs still, just because of how terrible the NFC is. Because look at Green Bay right now; they just lost to the Jets.
Yeah.
Who else?
Yeah, the Jets.
San Francisco loses to the Falcons. It's a shit show in the NFC right now. The only team, really Philly is the only team that looks like they can come out of the NFC right now.
Yeah, and like it reminds me, specifically the NFC South reminds me of the NFC East a couple years ago. Reminds me of the NL East last year in MLB, where they were just fighting to lose. Like they wanted to lose.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the 1994 AL West. Have you ever heard the story of this? 1994 was the strike year. World Series gets canceled because of a strike. The AL West that year was horrible. The team that was going to win, the Texas Rangers, like had a record like they were like so far below 500 that there were arguments being made that the AL West shouldn't have a representative in the playoffs. That was how bad it was. This is what the NFC South is reminding me of, because the Bucks are spiraling. The Falcons can't figure out what they are. The Panthers are easily the worst team in the league. And the Saints are just the Saints. So, you know, this division, it's so bad. I feel like just huddling in the corner of my room, just rocking back and forth, going, "We've become the NFC East. We've become the NFC East." Speaking of the NFC East, two things to talk about from there. First off, the Eagles, 6-0. I don't think they're going to go undefeated the entire year
No,
because
definitely not.
that game against Dallas, they should have put the Cowboys away, and that one ended up coming down a little bit to the wire, just a little bit. But the New York Football Giants, when are we going to start taking them seriously?
I'm going to be honest. It's funny because I think I came on here and I said the Packers to win when they were playing the Packers, and I knew the Giants were going to win that week. So I taken the Giants serious 2 weeks ago before the Packers game. But now that they've beat my my guy Lamar, I got to take them a little bit more serious. They look serious, and it's without it goes back to Ron Rivera's quarterback quote he said there. Every other team in our division is great with quarterback play. Well, Daniel Jones is not playing great at this year at all. Daniel
No, he isn't
enough for the Giants to win football games. Saquon Barkley is the one that's taken them to newer heights and new levels this year. But yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know when they became legit, how they became legit, or why they became legit with Daniel Jones at quarterback.
So I have a theory.
Yeah.
I have a theory. There have been, in the history of the NFL, there have been plenty of teams that have come out of nowhere with bad quarterback play. Not a lot of position players that you would recognize. Only like maybe one or two that are actually pretty good. That have just come out of nowhere and stunned everyone to be really, really good. And a lot the one factor that most of these teams seem to follow is that strong defense plus a coach who can get the team to rally around them. And I think that's what we're seeing with the Giants, with Brian Daboll has somehow managed to rally this team. Plus the defense has been playing ridiculously good. And this team gives me vibes of a team. This is going to be a stretch, but it gives me vibes of like the 2000 Ravens. The Ravens in 2000 had an incredibly good defense, but their offense was horrible.
Yep.
They had Trent Dilfer as their starting quarterback.
Yep.
So, and I know it's a stretch because the 2000 Ravens obviously are one of the greatest. Well, not even the 2000 Ravens. You know, people talk about them having the greatest defense of all time, but you don't see them being included in lists of the greatest teams of all time. That's because
the 85 Bears being the best defense.
Yeah, well, the 2000 Ravens, the scoring defense was better than the 85 Bears, but
Sure.
the 2000 Ravens, their offense was so bad that most people agree, yeah, they're one of the greatest defenses of all time, but they don't rank among the greatest teams. This is the vibe I'm getting from this Giants squad. Their offense might not be the greatest, but as long as they have enough playmakers and their defense keeps playing lights out like they have been, and they keep capitalizing on the mistakes of other teams, because a lot of the teams that they've been playing should have beaten them, but overanalyze. They go into this game and they start freaking out because they're like, oh, what if we lose to the Giants? What if we lose to the Giants? They start freaking out. That's what is allowing the Giants to be successful. They're getting into it's psychological. They're getting into the heads of their opponents.
And it's funny you said that about the opponent thing, because if you look at the Giants being at 5-1, they're really one CeeDee Lamb one-hand catch away from being 6-0. If CeeDee Lamb doesn't make a one-hand catch in the end zone with time basically running out in the game, the Giants are 6-0 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane to think about.
Yeah, it's not very comforting as the actual 6-0 team that hasn't played the Giants yet.
Yeah.
But
I like you guys to split one time. I think you guys beat them the first time, they'll beat you the second time, or but I like you guys to split.
Looking at the rest of the schedule for the Giants, they're going to most likely finish 7-1 going into their bye week because they play Jacksonville and Seattle up next. Out of the bye week, they play Houston, Detroit, and Dallas. there is a good chance they could get to 10-1 before they run into Dallas on Thanksgiving. And that game is likely going to be a toss-up because Dallas, I think, will give them some problems. But if they get past Dallas, they've got the Commanders, the Eagles, and the Commanders again. So there's 2 wins because Daniel Jones doesn't lose against the Commanders.
Yep.
Plus, most likely a loss against the Eagles. By the way, December 11th, mark it down. Eagles-Giants. That might be probably the biggest Eagles-Giants game in a very long time.
Last year was Daniel Jones' first loss ever against the Commanders.
Yeah.
Then they finish
No,
off
he's
the
never
season-
lost to the Commanders.
They finished this.
I got to do a baby check.
Apologies. They finished the season off against the Vikings, the Colts, and the Eagles. So their schedule is very easy. But if they can win the games they have to win, and they already have shown they can do that, they've beaten the Packers, they've beaten the Ravens, they've beaten the Titans, all teams that most likely will be fighting for playoff spots. Packers, maybe, but there's a good chance that the Giants could finish with only 2 or 3 losses.
Yeah.
And they're probably never going to get the respect they deserve, which is a shame. By the way, I want to do this now to point out what the playoff standings currently look like now that we're entering week 7. We're at the point where we kind of have an idea of like which teams are going to be contending. So here's what the playoffs look like right now, 6 weeks in. In the AFC, Buffalo has the bye. The wild card matchups would be Indianapolis at Kansas City, the New York Jets at Tennessee, and the Los Angeles Chargers at Baltimore. Bengals would be the first team out. In the NFC, the Eagles get the first round bye, and the wild card matchups would be Rams versus Vikings, Cowboys at Buccaneers, and Giants at 49ers. First team out in the NFC would be the Packers.
Good. I
still like Lamar.
Speaking of that, what the hell is going on in Baltimore?
Yeah,
I
go
don't
ahead.
know. I don't know. The Ravens, their season so far literally has been they look great one week and the next week they fall apart. They look great one week, the next week they fall apart. Their season literally has been crush the Jets, blow a massive lead to the Dolphins, nearly blow a big lead to the Patriots, blow a massive lead to the Bills, nearly blow it against the Bengals, blow it against the Giants. They can't keep a lead. They keep struggling to out ever since that Jets game. They just cannot be consistent. And
So-
looking at their schedule, they have to.
Yeah.
It's funny because they've actually only been down the whole season for a amount of time of like 7 minutes is the amount of time that they've been trailing in a game the whole entire season out of 6 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
With that being said, that means you're winning the entire game basically. You're literally just letting these guys come back in the last quarter, last couple seconds, last couple minutes. So, last week I would say it was Lamar's fault. He throws an interception the drive before, and then on that last drive he fumbles. Giants win the game.
Yeah.
The Dolphins, that was the defense fault. They're up 35-14. There's no reason for that defense to let up 35 points in 14 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
The Bills game, I mean, you got to blame that on the offense and the defense. You come out and score 20 in the first half, and then the second half you don't score anything. It's just I don't know what's going on in Baltimore right now, but I believe they're gonna find themselves and they're gonna cut this losing thing out because they have number 8 back there, and I believe 8 more than anything.
So looking ahead for Baltimore, they've got Cleveland this week. That's probably going to be a win. They've got Tampa next week,
Another
They've
one.
got-
That's probably gonna be a win too.
unfortunately. Then
Sorry,
they've got
buddy.
the Saints, which they better win. They're out of their bye. They've got Carolina, Jacksonville, and Denver. All 3 of those are must wins. And if you don't win those games, at least one of those games, there's something wrong. Then they've got the finish off the year. They've got the Steelers, the Browns, Falcons, Steelers, and Bengals. I guess the best thing we can say about Baltimore is this: their schedule gets easier in the middle, but the next couple of games they have to win, especially against the Browns, because Cleveland, I don't know what's going on with Cleveland. It is so difficult to gauge where Cleveland is, but you better beat him.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It's all tough. There's so many things that are happening that are obviously unexpected, and I mean the Chargers aren't doing as well as everybody thought. The Bills are obviously the Bills, so they're still the
That's
top. But
Patrick Mahomes let me down this week. I thought he was him, but this week it proved that he's not always him.
Pat,
he's
man, Pat really let me down.
yeah. I mean,
To be fair, Buffalo is one of those teams that you kind of know going in. It's like, okay, this is gonna be a toss up.
yeah.
And Patrick still made some crazy plays. That touchdown to Juju Smith-Schuster was awesome.
Mhm.
Chiefs
It's still weird seeing Juju not on the Steelers.
It is. I think my biggest reaction to that game is going to be give me a rematch for the AFC Championship, or at least a rematch in the playoffs at some point.
I think that'll probably be the AFC Championship. Those are
You think the NFL won't make that happen?
They'll pull some strings.
Exactly.
If Baltimore doesn't turn their season around, that's probably the AFC Championship right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Who knows? Maybe the Jets are legit and not just on a hot streak.
All right, now we're gonna export.
Now we're reaching.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now
Hey,
that
if the Jets win 2 or 3 more games, I will take them seriously. But right now, I'm just looking at the Jets like I don't know what to think of you, and you scare me.
now that Isaac's gone off the rails.
I will say though, their defense does look absolutely legit. Like their defense top tier. To only hold Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game, to 10 points, it's phenomenal.
It's basically the same
absolutely.
situation that's happening with the Giants. The Jets, their offense only has like 1 or 2 position players that actually are all any good. It's their defense and the coaching that's actually doing them wonders.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Zach Wilson only had like 115 passing yards last week and no touchdowns.
Yeah.
Damn.
But again, the difference is unlike the Giants, where look at them, it's like okay, I was unaware of your talent. Okay, I can see something here with the Jets. With the Jets, it's more like, get that thing away from me. I do not trust it. I don't trust it.
Exactly.
Get that thing away from me right now.
Yeah.
But the NFL is actually pretty crazy this year, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. Before we move on, go ahead, Kylie. Sorry.
It makes me happy knowing that the 72 Dolphins still haven't had their annual final final undefeated team ending dinner yet because of my team.
You just wait. They're gonna start pulling some voodoo magic.
I know,
Kylie's
right?
gonna be fast asleep, but she's gonna bolt awake and see that her sleep paralysis demon has transformed into Larry Zonka, staring at her like. Before we move on to our Week 7 game picks, real quickly, just want to say this: if the Denver Broncos get put on national TV one more time, I will throw something. I do not want to see this team on primetime anymore. Every time they're on primetime, the game is so bad. And also, by the way, Chargers head coach Brandon Staley could be outcoached by someone who plays Madden. There was no reason for that team to go into overtime at all.
Hey, but I'm glad it did. I bet I had a couple bets going and I won them because of it. So
Fair enough.
Nice.
Look, all I'm going to say is this: I'm undefeated in my fantasy league right now, and
5-1 on my side.
So here's
only
the
loss
funny.
I have is to the number 1 person. He's undefeated.
Oh my god.
Situation I'm in right now. I'm undefeated, and I'm going up against the number 2 person this week. So
here's how bad it is for the Broncos right now. So if you don't bet with Fliff, this is what I was using for this because we're in Maryland. So I bet Russell Wilson to have under 32.5 pass attempts. And I bet the under on him having under 230 passing yards, something like that. It went into overtime, and it still hit the under.
I'll be honest with you, and I know Isaac said earlier, new quarterback, new system, stuff like that. But we've seen plenty of situations where a quarterback goes into a new system and he wins Super Bowls. We just saw it last year with Matt Stafford.
Year before that with Brady.
Yep, year before that with Brady. So I get the new system, new quarterback thing, new team, but if you got that dog in you, you got that dog in you. And Russell Wilson is showing us he doesn't have that dog in him anymore. And
We'll see.
his old teammates and the people around him, they just show me every week why this guy doesn't have that dog in him. Like, who are you? This guy acts like he's Tom Brady with 7 championships or something. You have to get in contact with his manager to even make a phone call to the guy.
Mike.
What's up, Mike?
Who are you to be doing that, dude? What if I want to just call you and reminisce about the old Super Bowl runs we went on and stuff? I got to contact your manager to just reminisce about stuff like that? That's
Yeah.
crazy. You know, people that don't got that dog in them, they do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think Russell Wilson's too corny to be a quarterback.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Let's ride.
That
Let's do
meme
our
is going.
picks.
That meme, yeah, that meme is going to be haunting him. For the
That's
rest
where
of
he
his life.
lost the. That's where he lost the season, right there.
Yeah. All right. So, last week, week 6. This week was.
It was
a good one for us. Me and Kylie finished 8-6 on our picks. Calvin was 7-7 right behind us. The deciding factor for Kylie is that you picked the Jets to beat the Packers.
Don't give me credit for that one. That's only because I don't like Aaron Rodgers.
All right, whatever. Overall standings right now in our picks. I'm currently leading with a record of 50-44. Calvin is second,
Asshole.
46-48.
Asshole.
And Kylie, you are dead last at 45-51.
I hate you both.
Oh, you're gonna hate us even more.
I'm sweeping this week.
All right.
Okay.
Bold prediction. Here we go. So week 7, up first. Thursday night football. Pause for audible groan. Saints and Cardinals. You guys already know that I will never pick the Saints for anything, so go Cardinals.
Yeah. Cardinals new weapons. I like the Cardinals.
Yeah, D-Hop back.
D-Hop back.
Yeah.
Next up, Browns Ravens. This is a must-win game for Baltimore, and I think they will win it because I have no idea what's going on with Cleveland.
I don't even need to say my pick. You know where I'm going.
Y'all know who I have to pick.
Yeah. Buccaneers and sorry.
It's either I gotta run with Baltimore or I gotta run with San Diego, and we all know who I have to run with right now. So
Yeah.
I'm running with Baltimore.
Buccaneers and Panthers are up next. NFC South showdown. It's more like Tampa.
Mid-bowl.
Mid, very mid.
Tampa, yeah.
Tampa. There's no way I had Brady losing 2 weeks in a row.
No.
This is an interesting one. Cincinnati and Atlanta. Bengals may be, on a bit of a hot streak, but the Falcons look interesting. Who's winning this one?
I'm still going Bengals. But I wouldn't be shocked at the upset.
I'm going to take the Falcons in an upset.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be close, but I think the Falcons might pull something off here.
Yeah, they could.
I like the Bengals only because they're at home.
True.
They are at home. Wait, I'm changing. Give me Bengals. Lions and the Cowboys. First time all season that them boys have not been on national TV.
Now, this may be my upset pick here. The Lions coming off a bye week. Dallas isn't who we think they are. I just absolutely hate Dallas. So I'm going with the Lions.
I'm going Detroit too.
I got to stick with Dallas. I think Detroit will make it close, but until I see some real changes defensively, I don't think that Detroit's going to get that many wins, and it's a shame, but that's the problem they're in right now. Next up, we've got G-Men versus the Jaguars.
Give me the Jaguars, actually.
Really? You know the Jaguars are actually favored in this game.
Ow!
Doug Peterson, man.
That's the scary thing too. That they're the favorite. But I think I like the Giants in this one, man. The Giants are hot right now. Got to go with the hot hand.
I'm gonna go with the Giants too. Kylie, you're crazy.
Okay, you're gonna make me look like a dumbass next week.
Colts and Titans rematch and a battle for first place in the AFC South. Did not think I'd say that about the Colts. Wow. Okay.
Titans. I hate the Colts.
I hate the Titans.
Tennessee's winning this one. Packers and the Commies. Commanders are dealing with some serious issues with Dan Snyder right now, and there's a good chance he might get voted out. Will that give them the momentum to beat Green Bay? The answer, I say, hell no. No, Aaron Rodgers isn't going to lose to again. Probably. I hope not.
Okay. My heart as a Commanders fan, obviously I want to go with him. But my brain, I don't see Aaron Rodgers losing 3 straight. I'm going Commanders.
Me too.
All right.
Me too.
Commanders.
With Heineke at the back, give me Commanders.
Yeah, Heineke is starting. It doesn't matter. I'm still taking the Packers. You guys are crazy. Next up, Jets and Broncos. Mid-off.
Jets.
Jets. Jets. Jets.
Yes.
Who's home?
Broncos are at home.
Broncos country. That's right.
Even when we joke about it,
I know.
It's so corny.
I like this one.
Huh?
I like the Broncos in this one.
All right. There's be side-eyeing Calvin the rest of the episode.
Right.
Texans and Raiders. Battle between the two worst teams in the AFC. Yeah. Raiders are not as bad as their record suggests, so I'm going with the Raiders.
Did you see the speaking of the Raiders, the TikTok of them interviewing Derek Carr, and then an ESPN notification came up, and you know the sound it makes when you get the notification? The dude jokingly said, "Derek, you got traded."
No,
it was hilarious.
What? Derek is like, what?
Mm-hmm. He's like, "Nah, I got a full trade clause. They gotta ask me first."
All right. West Coast battle: Seattle versus the Chargers. I'm gonna go ahead.
I'm picking Seattle.
Seahawks to win in an upset.
Me too.
All right.
Yeah, I don't have them upsetting 2 teams in a row. I like the Chargers.
Fair enough. Chiefs and 49ers, Super Bowl 54 rematch. Second Super Bowl rematch of the year for the Chiefs, mind you. Yeah. This one, I think this game's going to be closer than their Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Give me the Chiefs.
I hate when both teams that are playing come off a loss because it's like, this team's not losing 2 straight. This team's not losing 2 straight, but one of them has to lose 2 straight.
Or like a tie.
I'm going with the Chiefs, man. I can't go against 15.
Yeah, no.
Chiefs. All right. Steelers versus Dolphins on Sunday Night Football. Tua is returning.
Steelers.
I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. Sadly.
I'll never put my money on Mr. Trubisky. I'm taking the Dolphins.
That's a fair point. Finally, Monday Night Football. Bears and the Patriots.
Jesus.
Why is this our Monday night matchup? Why?
It's going to be a good game. Watch.
Is Bailey Zappi starting?
Bailey Zappi actually had a great game last week.
Bailey Zappi has quietly I was going to say this if we had more time. Patriots might have a quarterback issue on their hands because Bailey Zappi looks really good.
Let me pull up the stats from last week, but that guy had a ball game last week.
I'm taking the Patriots regardless. Sorry, Tim.
They put up 38 points.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick got his 324th win. Bailey Zappi, 24 for 34, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns.
You need Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Patriots.
Sorry, Tim.
Well, we'll see what happens. There's our Week 7 picks. Hey, we're a third of the way through the season.
Yes, sir.
I'm liking what we're seeing so far.
Yeah. Let's head over to what I want to talk about.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be fun. So where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the shocking NLCS matchup that nobody expected?
Hey, listen, I'm a Mets fan, but I'm not a hater. Shout out to these, man. Those guys, way to get hot. Way to get hot when it matters. Way to get hot when it matters.
They made the Braves look like I don't know how to explain it. They made the Braves look like the wild card team.
Yeah.
I was straight disrespectful what they did to Atlanta.
I went to the first game in Philadelphia.
Especially that game. That game, you guys
Dude.
really disrespected those guys.
Let me tell you, I had never had such a fun time in my life at a game. Like the crowd was loud as hell. I met up with some of my friends from Twitter. I bless you.
Oh, that was Milani here.
That was a loud sneeze for an infant.
Hey, she's on the show, but she's not really on the show. She said hello though.
Oh my goodness! Hi.
She's so cute.
Thank you.
She's getting big fast.
Yeah,
She
man.
is.
We actually just went to the doctor's today. 16 pounds, 25 inches long. So
Ooh.
Oh, look at her. I met the owner of the Phillies, and that was cool.
You showed me a picture of you guys together. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was insane. The crowd, like when Reese spiked his bat, it was insane. Like the chants that we did.
The amount of disrespect that Phillies fans showed today is just that is 10 years of no playoffs built up finally being
Yep.
unleashed.
Yeah,
guys-
10 years of pent up anger toward this freaking team that we hate. Like we don't like the Mets, of course. Half the fan base hates the Mets more than the Braves, and the other half, the half that I'm part of, hates the Braves more than the Mets. And it was beautiful to just steal game 1 in Atlanta, and we should have won game 2, but things happened there which were unfortunate. And then we just took both games in Philly. When I was at that game, it clearly rattled Spencer Strider. The fans are going Strider. It was clearly affecting them, all of them. And then game 2 in Philly, where JT had that walk-off, or not the walk-off, the inside the park home run. You can't beat it.
Well, your opponent for the NLCS is the one that really interests me. Kylie, when we made our early predictions for the postseason, you said the Padres would represent the NL in the playoffs.
that she
and
did. She did say
You might have been onto something because they pulled one of the greatest upsets in MLB history and took down a 111-win Dodgers team in 5.
Yeah. And keep in
No,
mind,
in four.
the last 5 teams to beat the Dodgers in the postseason ended up going to the World Series.
Wait.
So
I gotta check. I gotta check that.
yeah, I think Braves beat them last year and Braves won the series.
I
yeah.
checked that.
Braves
Okay,
beat them, Nats beat them.
Nats beat
Braves
'em.
beat them. Nats beat them. They lost to the Red Sox. Lost to the Astros. Lost to the Cubs. Oh my God! Hell, even the Mets beat them to go to the World Series in 2015. Oh my God!
Yeah, whoever beats the Dodgers goes to that series.
Let's hope that ends because I
You
got
guys-
all this merch.
You guys look good right now, Kylie. I really don't have you guys losing this series unless, you turn out to be that Philly team that gives up 9 runs in the 9th inning and stuff like that. But as of right now, you guys are literally the hottest team in baseball. And you guys got hot literally right at the right time. Second hottest team in baseball because those guys out there in New York, they're still hot. They've been hot since I don't even know.
You damn right. By the way, I want to point this out. I just realized something by looking at these stats. The Dodgers have never won a World Series after winning 100 or more games. They never have.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's ridiculous.
The Yankees, though, it's funny. I was in the casino yesterday placing my NBA bets while the Yankees game is going on, and Stanton hits a home run, and the whole casino just goes ballistic. And then I was still there long enough to see the Judge home run, and the whole casino just went ballistic. And as soon as Judge hits that home run, I'm like, yeah, this game's over. They wrapped it up.
My favorite part was when was it Gleyber Torres? To get the ending out, he did this.
Oh yeah, Rock Baby.
Loved that. I was at work. A couple of Yankees fans were actually dining in and they were watching the game. And when that happened, I was just like, as someone in sports that loves kind of embraces the asshole kind of vibe, I love that.
Yep. But
As
going back to the Phillies though, as of right now, we should see Phillies Yankees World Series. It looks like.
repeat of '09, you think?
Hey,
Is a better result?
hey, everybody take a deep breath and chill. We still got to get past Houston.
Yeah.
I-
Yankees got to get past Houston. We got 3 more to win in against San Diego. So
I respect that, and I respect you guys being fans that are, reasonable, saying you guys still have stuff to do. But let's be realistic here. Houston, yeah, they've been sitting for a couple of days, but that actually might be the thing that's going to mess them up. They've been sitting for so long.
that's what I wanted to say. So it's as a number 1, number 2, or number 3 team with over 100 wins. A 5-day break should not be the end all be all for your season in the postseason. It just shouldn't. I understand like the bats are going to be a little streaky, but your pitching should be perfectly fine. They're all healthy. They're all ready to go. They all should have been gearing up and ready. It's a weak cop out.
Very true. That's very true. But you can, yeah, that's true. But then when you look at it in another sports standpoint, like let's compare it to football. When those guys get that first bye week and then they come out week 2 in the playoffs, and a lot of those teams lose. Like we saw it last year. The Titans had the bye week. Bengals come out and they beat them. Resting for days and days at a period of time, it does take you off your game because you're not really going through game motions. You're not doing the same things you've been doing. The practices aren't the same. So it does have a little bit of effect on it. But baseball wise, I can see that, because your pitchers are very healthy. They have been sitting. They haven't been using their arms, so they should be ready to go. But as far as the bats clicking, it does get a little harder for the bats to click after you've been resting for the certain amount of days there.
I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, I look at Houston and how they basically bullied us this season. Remember, it was Houston sweeping us in a series in mid-July that caused our summer slump. That had everyone thinking like, oh, the Yankees are dead. They're going to lose the division. They might even drop out of the playoff picture. So I look at this series like how my dad is looking at the series. My dad is probably the biggest Yankees fan in the world. My dad is looking at this series like I'm going to have to rub a Lucky Rabbit's foot every single night. I am so scared of the Astros.
I got this jersey. Like I superstitious. Like
I really hate the Astros, so I hope you guys take care of business.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Game 1 is tonight. We just came off of taking care of business against Cleveland. Shout out to Cleveland, by the way. They were a lot tougher than I thought they would be. They made things really, really nerve-wracking, and especially us having to come back from a 2-1 series deficit. By the way,
not only do I hate the Astros, so I hope you guys take care of them, but how would we look here if only Kylie seems the one that makes it to the
yeah. Yeah.
The one that was having a painful summer.
Exactly.
The one that was just
painful summer. Whose team completely collapsed in July and August? Wait a damn minute. The Yankees did too.
Yeah, but the Phillies
Don't
are
making
worse.
me yell.
You guys are already in a good position. We were screwed. We were absolutely screwed. We had to win. What was it like? Jesus, it was like what 11, 12 games straight, and the Braves did too. We fired our manager, which obviously is the reason why we're here today. But I had so much shit to deal with.
Exactly.
Blah blah blah. It's all excuses. Whatever. Look, okay, but before we move on, I just want to say one last thing about the division series, and that's about something that was going on with one of the broadcasters. There are certain broadcasters that I have so much respect for, and as somebody who does broadcasting myself, even on a community college level, I emulate them. And one of them is the guy that I emulate the most, and that is Bob Costas. I love
great.
Bob Costas. He is probably one of the best sportscasters in American history. So it really pains me to see how Gen Z's lower Gen Z, mind you, upper Gen Z and lower Gen Z are different generations, and that you will never convince me otherwise. It pains me to see how lower Gen Z just hates the dude. He was trending on Twitter, and I thought, oh right, he's calling the Yankees series. I think a lot of people, this might be their first exposure to Bob Costas and how great he is. No, it's everyone just saying Bob Costas sucks. It's like, why does he have to make every at bat a history lesson? Because he's awesome. He has the voice, the charisma. The dude's been doing this for years. He called Michael Jordan's finals. He called Michael's final shot. Okay? He's right up there in the great pantheon of American sportscasters with Vin Scully, Al Michaels, and
Is he the one that typically does the Yankees broadcasts?
Bob Costas. No, that's Michael Kay. Bob Costas used to call basketball for NBC, and he's been the U.S. voice of the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's up there. If you give me a Mount Rushmore of sports broadcasters, my Mount Rushmore is Howard Cosell, Bob Costas, Al Michaels, and Vin Scully. Actually, no. Take Vin Scully off and replace him with I love Vin Scully, but he had some comments about the anthem protests in the NFL that turned me off to him back in 2016. Those comments were like, I don't know about that, man. Take Vin Scully off and replace him with what's his name?
You gotta keep Vin up there.
No, in personal opinion, I'll take Vin off and I'll replace him with
But as a broadcaster.
Good point. Okay, you know what? Leave Vin on, but take Al Michaels off for now. He can go on the lower one. Al Michaels is awesome. And replace him with, what was his name? Red Barber. Red Barber called Dodgers games back when they were in Brooklyn and called Jackie Robinson's first season. If you watch the movie 42, there's an actor who does a great job of him. Red Barber Red Barber basically invented baseball broadcasting lingo. Put Red Barber up there with Vin Scully, Bob Costas, and Howard Cosell.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Let's kick it off to the start of the NBA, though.
Well,
Yes.
One second. Before we go NBA, I have to ask you guys. So, Isaac, you guys have what's Talion? Is that how you say it?
TIE Fighter.
Okay, you guys have Tyon on the mound tonight. Verlander's on the mound for the Astros. Do we like no run in the first inning?
Yeah.
Sure. Tyon's always been
I like the no run on Verlander's side. I'm basically asking on Tyon's side.
I don't know. That's the problem. Tyon
Was it
isn't our
last
best.
week?
He's very good, but he isn't our best.
Was it last week that I accidentally bet 69,000 flip coins?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Did I say that on the podcast or was it after?
I think it was after.
It was after. I know you were telling me at work you did that.
Well, yeah. So for those listening, I was at work watching the Astros Mariners game.
Oh yeah.
And I thought it was a different inning, so I accidentally hammered the Astros winning. I think it was the sixth. It was the sixth inning that I hammered them winning, and I bet 69,000 coins on that. It was the eighth inning apparently that it was going to be at, but it hit. It hit, and I won 317,000 flip coins.
Well, good for you. Gambling is just good for you.
So now I have to ask on your side, Kylie, the NBA. Aaron Nola, Blake Snell. No run first inning?
No runs first? I think we score a run the first inning. I do.
Yeah, you guys are hot, man.
It's also Blake Snell, the dude that broke Bryce Harper's hand. I think we score the first inning.
Y'all better whoop them tonight.
We also attack early. That was our thing. Get the pitch count up.
Yep, that you're exactly right about that, because I think I put you guys for no run first inning against the Braves, maybe game 2, and you guys went up 2-0 in the first inning. And I was so upset.
Yeah.
But,
it wasn't the second game. It was the first game. Must have been.
Yeah.
Second game we got shut out. But who's in Cancun first? Um,
Let's move over to the NBA because we got to do
Let's
our
do
season
it.
preview. Yeah,
let's do it.
we'll try to keep this one a little brief because we are running a little short on time. But
Yeah, sure.
First two
Uh,
games were great last night.
No, it was just one game.
I did not get a chance to watch because I was working a late game. But from what I saw, Boston, James Harden apparently looked really good or something. Is that
Yeah,
what?
James looked like James last night.
Okay, good. And
But-
then
Boston's legit.
Shut up.
They're very, very legit. And the addition of Malcolm Brogdon is absolutely ridiculous for those guys.
got him on my fantasy team.
Yeah, because he adds extra defense support to next to Marcus Smart as a guard, but him coming off the bench and coming in and dropping 15 points a game as well with his defense is a great extra push for those guys. And then you know how I feel about my guy number 0. That guy, he had an amazing game last night. I don't know what the Sixers were doing, but they couldn't guard him. 35 points. So the young guys. I think I was talking about it a couple weeks ago when they were talking about that Kevin Durant to Boston stuff, and I said it's really disrespectful to these young guys because they showed you what they could do last year by bringing this team to the finals. And then the same 2 young guys, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, both had 35 points last night to open the season up. So, I think Boston's right where they left off last year, and they're definitely my pick out of the East to make it back to the finals.
Hey, let me say something real quick about the West game that we got last night with the Warriors and the Lakers.
They got their
LeBron and Steph might be into their 30s, but they can still put on a show.
Oh, yeah.
LeBron, 31 points, 12 of 25, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Steph, 33 points, 10 of 22, 9 for 9 from the free throw line. These guys might be the old heads of the league, but they can still ball out. It was a
LeBron
fun
had a
game.
triple-double.
Yeah,
I think he was 1 assist or 1 rebound away from a triple-double.
he was 2 assists away.
2 assists away. Yeah. So this guy doing it in year 20 is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Warriors are going to be a problem though. That young core that
Oh.
they've developed is like they are not going away.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be around for much longer than any of us thought.
The Warriors are very legit, but I will say one thing about this Lakers team. This Lakers team is a lot better than last year's Lakers team. The only thing that they still don't have is shooters. If they can, I feel like this is deja vu. I swear I said this on an episode last year. If they can get some shooters, the Lakers team will be very legit because Anthony Davis looked very good last night. So, with Anthony Davis playing at a healthy standpoint, LeBron still being LeBron, if they get some shooters around them, they can be very legit. Because the young guys that they have around him, Lonnie Walker, he did all right last night. The guy they got from the Warriors, he did all right last night. So they have a good team, good chemistry, but they just need some shooters, and they don't need a year 20 LeBron still carrying the team.
Yeah, well, I'll be. Hey, my boys kick off tonight. Heater, we're taking on the Bulls, so we'll see what happens.
You guys should take care of business.
That should be an easy
Yeah.
one. They're without Zach LaVine. We're without Victor Oladipo and some bench players, so we'll be fine. But Kylie, you put in our notes. We'll do our quick season preview. The first thing you said, Kylie, was which team's going to be the most disappointing?
What do you guys think?
Well, I'm going to go conference. For the East, I'm going to take the Brooklyn Nets. And for the West, I'm going to say Phoenix. I think Phoenix takes a step backwards. I think that their contending window is still open, but I think it's not going to be as See, usually I would say I would usually say Utah, but I already think Utah is clearly they've decided, yeah, we're pulling out.
Yeah.
I think Phoenix is going to be disappointing this year. They're still going to be competitive, but I think it's not going to be the same level that we've seen in previous years.
I think the Clippers are going to be disappointing.
Jesus, you took the words right out of my mouth. I swear to you.
Shit, you're right. The Clippers.
I was going Clippers.
I forget the Clippers exist sometimes, okay?
Everybody does.
Yeah, I was going to say with the teams that ESPN and all these reporters believe to have spectacular seasons and do things, I think the most disappointing team out of those teams will be the Clippers.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, which teams are like being really hyped up by ESPN right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with either the Sixers or the Clippers are gonna be the most disappointing.
Don't get me wrong. I love John Wall. I think
Mhm.
John Wall will have a fantastic season this year after not playing basketball for almost 3 years now at this point.
Yeah.
But you still have to mesh John Wall with Kawhi Leonard, with Paul George. You know, those guys, they haven't played together yet.
That's gonna be the real question.
Exactly. It's going to be the real question. Can these guys play together? And then not only that, we haven't seen Kawhi Leonard in almost 2 years of basketball. We don't know what Kawhi Leonard we're going to get when this guy comes out either, you know? And these guys, they faced leg injuries. It's not like they had hand injuries or, you know, shoulder injuries or something like that, or a neck injury. These guys had leg injuries. In basketball, all you're doing is running. So how much can they really take on their legs for 48 minutes of basketball, which is actually like 3 hours of basketball, running back and forth up and down the court?
Mm-hmm. Who do you think is going to be the most surprising team?
Minnesota for the West. Minnesota has a very young core. They made big strides last year by getting out of the play-in tournament into the actual dance. I think Minnesota, you're going to see the Timberwolves, take a big step forward this year. For the East,
I like that.
Give me Charlotte. I want to see the Hornets do something for the first time in 3 decades. Give me Charlotte to actually break through.
I'm going Detroit. I say Detroit might shock some people. Not saying they'll be finals contenders or anything, but I'm saying like people are expecting them to maybe, do okay. But I think they'll get more respect this season.
I'm
just picking teams that people are shitting on or favoring heavily, because that's usually the formula for disaster or success.
Out of the East, I think it's going to be the Hawks.
No.
Ew.
Boo.
Oh.
I hate to say it, but guys will. I think they're going to have a great season this year. I'm not saying, like Kylie said, no finals or anything.
Yeah.
But
better than expected.
Yeah, the Hawks can be impressive this year. DeJounte Murray, Trae Young.
Yeah.
They got some guys. John Collins. So they can be impressive with the young core that they have there. And it's not like they just have a young core. They have young superstars. Trae Young and DeJounte Murray have proved themselves in this league since they've been here.
Yeah.
So I'll say those guys out of the East. Out of the West, I'm gonna agree with Isaac. Probably the Timberwolves or I gotta go Grizzlies. One of those two teams.
I expect the Grizzlies to be good.
Yeah,
that's very true. Yeah, I'm gonna go Timberwolves. If my guy wasn't injured for the whole season, I'd say the Thunder, but Chet Holmgren's injured, so.
Yeah. Who gets MVP?
I'm gonna say Luka.
I'm gonna say Embiid finally gets it.
The look on my face tells you exactly where I'm going. I don't need to say too much.
You're going, bro.
All right, fair enough.
Number 6. That's who I'm going with.
So
yeah,
I think this is gonna be this. I want to say this is one of my favorite times. October's my favorite month of sports because for sports nerds like us, we get so overstimulated. NFL season, we're in mid-season in the NFL, which is really weird to say.
Postseason baseball.
And hockey and basketball have just started.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, even if you're a motorsports fan like me, all of the motorsports series are wrapping up their season, so you have championships pretty much every weekend. So,
yeah.
Also, MLS has their tournament going on right now. It's hard to keep track with Major League Soccer. It's really hard to keep track of Major League Soccer because they add like 3 new teams every season, and those teams almost always go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So this year, I still had to do double take. Was like, there's a team in Austin now. What?
Yeah. All right, Isaac. Send us away with hockey.
All right, so NHL season has officially kicked off, and week 1 was weird. A lot of teams everyone expected to do poorly, the Flyers, are doing really well.
Shout out Philly.
Flyers, no man, they look good.
Yeah,
I feel we don't know how to act right now.
Yeah, Philly sports fans are being just straight up.
You know it's crazy. They had this Philly special parlay yesterday, and the ones that ruined it, but. Flyers, Phillies, and the Sixers all to win yesterday. They were all underdogs in their games. So it even if you would have put like $20, I think the payout was like 500 something.
Yeah.
Of course, the 76ers had to ruin it, but no, I didn't expect this. Celtics. I'm not gonna be. I'll be honest with you.
So before we get into the standings updates of the stat leaders, here's a quick couple of news stories jumping around the league. First up, we briefly touched last week on the NHL's investigation into Ian Cole of the Tampa Bay Lightning. They dropped the investigation, having cleared him basically of everything, which
Because they couldn't get in contact with the anonymous accuser. So
That's all that is.
yeah, it was a lie.
We do have a couple of major injuries. The biggest is going to be for the Avalanche. Gabriel Landeskog, their captain, is out 12 weeks. That's going to be big for the defending champs. Avalanche have gotten off to a bit of a slow start, but they managed to rebound in their last couple of games. The commissioners reported the salary cap is going to jump by $4 million, which
That's huge.
yeah, if you thought there's a problem with teams signing big star players, get ready.
We ain't seen nothing yet.
Also, the NHL had some unfortunate news with their diversity reports. They did a report and found that their workforce was 84% white. I don't know how you can solve that at that point.
I don't know.
So, but here's what the standings look like. So, starting off in the East, in the Atlantic, Boston, the Czechs have arrived in Boston. They're Czech line. They're 3-1. They lead the East with 6 points. Detroit, their young core starting to come together. They're second at the moment. Buffalo, they hold the longest playoff drought in the They hold the longest playoff drought in the league. They're currently sitting third. Florida is currently holding the wild card spot. Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, and Tampa are all out. Guys, I got an issue with Tampa. Tampa's team is high scoring, but they're 1-3. I'm not like
you have an issue with Tampa.
Yeah,
I do too.
And the team to bet against is San Jose right now. They're terrible.
Oh, I'm about to lay off on San Jose. In the Metropolitan Division, as expected, Carolina is currently leading. Philadelphia, undefeated. After everyone thought that it was gonna be another rough year. Rangers are looking good. They're 3-1. Pittsburgh is 2-0-1. So the Penguins looks like they're still going to be on track. The Islanders currently off to a bit of a slow start. Washington, hey, Evgeny Kuznetsov has been suspended for high sticking. The Capitals are not looking the same. I think H is finally caught up. Unfortunately for the Devils, it looks like it's going to be another rough season. Sorry, Kylie. I know it's early, but they have not gotten off to a great start. Columbus.
Dougie Hamilton is still the best player of all time.
Columbus's Johnny Hockey signing is not working right now. That needs to be fixed.
Maybe
Over in the West, in the Central, Dallas has jumped out to a 3-0 start. Stars, despite having a mostly veteran lineup, looking pretty good. Nashville, everything else is kind of mid. Nashville's kind of mid. Colorado is dealing with a bit of a championship hangover. St. Louis has only played a single game so far, so it's really hard to guess where they're at. Winnipeg looks mid. Chicago and Arizona look trash, and the Wild haven't won a game yet.
Damn.
In the Pacific, Calgary, who everyone thought was going to be terrible because they basically sold off all their good players, are undefeated. Vegas looks good. LA looks good. Seattle, they look better. Edmonton looks bad. Love it. Anaheim looks bad. Vancouver looks like absolute trash. And the San Jose Sharks are 0-5. Yeah, that is bad. Here are your standings. Here are your stats leaders. Leading the way in points is Artemi Panarin for the Rangers. His teammate Mika Zibanejad is right behind him. Rangers, by the way, the first couple of games, their scoring was ridiculous. I am very scared of the Rangers. They can score like that. Leading in goals, Steven Stamkos of Tampa Bay with 6, and yet the Lightning are 1-3. Leading the way in plus-minus percentage is Brett Pesky of the Hurricanes. Goaltending leaders. Goals against average is a 4-way tie between Craig Anderson of Buffalo, Frederik Anderson of the Hurricanes, Antti Ranta of the Hurricanes, and Jake Ottinger of Dallas. Leading the way in save percentage with a .973 is Alex Stalock of the Blackhawks. And leading the way in wins is a 3-way tie between Igor Shesterkin of the Rangers, Jake Ottinger of Dallas, and Carter Hart of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Carter Hart.
Yeah, fun start to the season for hockey. I'm really impressed with the Flyers, and I fear what will happen if another Philly team goes to the playoffs.
I can guarantee you it'll be a fun time.
Flyers, Islanders, and Rangers have probably impressed me the most so far.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The Islanders still gotta work on some stuff for me. I'm not 100% sold on them, especially after last year's collapse. But yeah. And, hey, Metropolitan Division is one of my favorite divisions to follow, and right now all I can say is this: Washington, Washington better be glad they won a cup when they did, because it looks like the Capitals' contending window has slammed shut.
1,000.
Yeah.
That's gonna do it for Isaac's Hockey Corner. Tune in next week for week 2.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So as we end Isaac's Hockey Corner, that also ends the episode.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much, as always, for listening and watching and tuning in.
Whoop, whoop.
Mike, as always, for interacting, although it wasn't for long this time, which makes me sad. We're always, every Wednesday, we tune in, and we'll, of course, be watching the LCS games for both the Yankees and the Phillies. Calvin is just in pain.
Just so you guys are well aware, depending on which teams win the LCS, next week's episode could be one of the most toxic episodes in the history of Beer Battered Sports. Because if 2 certain teams in particular win, it'll be a World Series preview. And
if it's an 0-9 matchup, I swear to God, I'm going to go.
These two will be hating each other.
Yeah, Kylie, we're not going to be talking if that happens.
No.
Yeah, I would prefer that, because San Diego-Houston matchup is just groan worthy.
It's cringe. It is.
It is, like, because it's the Padres.
I'll root for the Padres, no doubt.
Oh yeah, I'll root for the Padres.
Yeah. There's no way I can root for Houston.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely not. Yeah.
I tell Houston to go do certain things to themselves, but there's a child on screen right now. I can't say that.
No, Milana can't hear that. Stay tuned for next week, where we might have some toxicity, some updates on a couple things, and more episodes. So tune in for that. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, all that good stuff. Lonnie probably says bye.
Say bye.
Last words. All right, we will see you guys
Go
next week.
Birds! That's my
Go
last word.
Birds!
Go Birds.